So when I was quite a lot younger, my dad used to have a lot of books about dinosaurs, creation and the flood and things, and he used to do exhibitions, so we were like quite interested in it too. We used to read the books, and we used to have this song by this tape with songs on it. I think it was by a guy called Ken Ham, which is like country music, and it was all about like creation and dinosaurs. And there was one song, I don't know if anyone remembers it, because we did have it here a bit, called Billions of Dead Things Buried in Rock Layers. It was quite fun when he was a kid. So I've actually mentioned this website before. It's called creation.com, and it's got like a lot of really interesting information on it, all about the dinosaurs and creation, and just any sort of questions about that. It's got lots of articles and things. Because a lot of people think that as Christians we can't believe in science and creation. But actually, the more you read into it and the more you look into it, you find out that the more and more we learn about science, actually, the more creation is proved and the more the Bible is proved. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about some information I found on this website, because I think it's really interesting. So to start off, now you've all had like a 2-second sneaky preview. Can anyone think of any names of any dinosaurs? Yep. Brachiosaurus, wow. Didn't expect that one to come up. T-Rex, that's very good. Ben? A what? Multosaurus, yeah, I've never heard that one, but it's probably a dinosaur. Well done, thank you. Tommy? Spinosaurus. I'd like to see a picture of that one. Bruce? Pterodactyl, yeah. Ankylosaurus again. Ben, I think you've got even more dinosaur knowledge than I do, because I've not heard of that one either.
Just a small side note, there's loads of things with pterodactyl, but there are such things as pterodactylus.
Oh, okay, thank you. You clearly know far more than me, thank you. So, I've just got a few dinosaurs up here. And it's all got reformatted, so that's good. We've got a Triceratops, Velociraptor, Stegosaurus, a T-Rex, I think someone mentioned that, and Iguanodon. Can't remember if anyone mentioned that one. So when we listen to things in the world and we see things in the world, people think they know a lot about dinosaurs and where they came from, but a lot of what we hear and see around about us is not really true. So if we say, when did dinosaurs live? A lot of people might say millions of years ago. And if we ask the question, did dinosaurs ever live with people? I think a lot of people would say no. And did dinosaurs turn into birds? A lot of people might say yes. And what did dinosaurs eat? Well, a lot of people would probably say meat, but actually all those answers are wrong. And it's really difficult, because when we're out and about in the world, we kind of get affected by what people say. But when we read the Bible, we can find all the true answers to these questions, and that's what this website's for, because it gives you loads of really good information. So God tells us in the Bible that he created the whole of the world in 6 days, and it was just a few thousand years ago. So could dinosaurs have lived on Earth millions of years ago if the Earth is only just a few thousand years old? No. They must have come into existence during those first 6 days. So when were they created? Well, God created air and sea creatures on the 5th day. So like, if we go on to the next slide. So now this is going to test my pronunciation. The pterodon, which looks a bit like a pterodactyl to me. The Quetzalcoatlus, that's this really big one, which I've been told is similar height to a giraffe, so that's like massive. And Rhamphorhynchus. That looks a little bit like a pterodon, but only because it's flying. And then if we go on to the next one, then we've got the Plesiosaurus, the Kronosaurus, and the Leopleurodon. So all those kind of animals would have been created on the 5th day. And on the next day, on the 6th day, God created all the animals that live on the land, like elephants, bears, koalas, and all of the land dinosaurs that we know. So this leads us to the next question. Did dinosaurs ever live with people? Yes, they did, because God then created people. So Adam was actually the first person to discover dinosaurs. And it also means that, contrary to what a lot of people think, dinosaurs didn't turn into birds because birds were formed beforehand. So on to the next question. What about what they ate? So in Genesis, it says at the end of the 6th day, God said his creation was very good. And he told Adam, Eve, and all the animals to eat from the plants and trees he created for them. So all in the very, very beginning, all the dinosaurs, even including the T-Rex, they would have eaten fruits, leaves, or other plant material that was lying around. So no, they didn't really eat meat in the very beginning. But once Adam disobeyed God and took a bite from the fruit of the tree from which God had forbidden him to eat, everything changed. And animals started to want to eat other food besides what God had given to them, like each other. So as time went on, things got so bad that when God saw all the wickedness in the earth, he brought the flood. And he brought 2 of every kind of animal, 7 of some kinds of animal, to the ark. And that obviously included dinosaurs because they were around back then. So they all went on the ark. They were safe from the flood. And all the land animals that couldn't breathe underwater, they all died. So because of all the water, mud, and minerals that were mixed up during this time, the conditions were just right to cause the bones of the animals and also lots of the sea and air creatures to become fossilized. And so that's why today we find fossils all around the world. After the flood, all the people, the dinosaurs, and all the rest of the animals left the ark, and they went out into the earth and began to refill it. So some of the animals found it more and more difficult to survive in the new world. The climate in some places was a lot colder than before, and there might not have been as much food around. And also people are now allowed to kill and eat animals. So they used animals for food, clothing, weapons, and jewelry. And so eventually some of those animals became extinct, maybe like the mammoth. So as they slowly died out over the years, all that was left of the dinosaurs was their bones and stories, which then probably turn into legends about dragons, which we can hear about nowadays. So some people might say, oh, well, we can't find the word dinosaur in the Bible, so that can't be true. But the word dinosaur was made up hundreds of years after the Bible was first translated into English. So that's why we don't find the specific word dinosaur in the Bible. But what we can find more than once is a Hebrew word which was translated as dragon. So, for example, when God is talking to Job, he describes an animal called a behemoth, which is the largest animal in creation. It says it eats grass, it has long legs and bones, and it has a tail like a cedar tree. And if you don't know, cedar trees are really, really, really big. So we know that this animal, it can't be a hippopotamus, and it can't be an elephant. But if we go on to the next slide, it could possibly be a Apatosaurus or a Brachiosaurus. That could be what we're talking about when we read about the Behemoth in the Bible. So the Bible presents us a different picture to what we might hear around us. But because we know the Bible was written by God and given to us by God, we can trust it. It gives us a true story, an accurate picture of what really happened. Thank you.